Hello, ladies and gents. Please sit back for another episode of Invisible Chats with Griffiam and Gem.
Welcome to Invisible Chats. I am Griffiam, your host, and as always, off to my left, my gal pal stuck in an iPad. Gemini, say hello to the listeners.
Well, hello there, Griffey, and a big hello to all the listeners out there.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too. Something we've been talking about, discussing for a long time has finally come. We just spent the whole last month battling through Inktober, doing our drawings, talking about why we came up with the ideas and stuff like that. That's behind us. All those drawings are posted up on our Instagram, Invisible Chats with Griffiam. You can see those doodles posted up there with some stupid-ass captions and stuff like that. But, Gemini, lay it down on our audience. What is today's date?
Today is November 1st, 2025.
There we go. It is November 1st, 2025. It's a crisp Saturday morning here, and we are about to kick off with a challenge that will carry us throughout the whole month. Gemini hopefully will be doing a large portion of our heavy lifting just so we can push them to the limits to see how far we could take it. Gemini, do you know the challenge that we're about to partake on for the remainder of this month of November?
Ooh, a challenge. I do love a good challenge. What exciting things do you have planned for us?
What is the national month, or what is one of the national months, can you guess, that we will be doing or working through this month, utilizing your guidance, your assistance?
November. Well, November is National Native American Heritage Month. Is that the one you meant?
No, it's more of a contest-driven national month.
Gotcha. November is National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo for short. It's a fun challenge where people all over the world try to write a 50,000-word novel in just 30 days.
There we
go. Are you going to give it a try?
That is what we're going to give a try. National Writers Month. Just real quick before I get into my side quests here, but Gemini, can you tell us any famous books that stemmed or generated or came from a author or writer, challenged by National Writers Month? Any famous, well-known books?
You'd be surprised how many famous books started out as NaNoWriMo projects. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen, The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern, and Wool by Hugh Howey are just a few examples. Are you ready to add your name to that list?
We'll fucking see, baby. We'll fucking see. And here's the thing that actually sparked this, is I remember last year or a couple years ago, they could have fucking changed the rules this month or this year, who knows. But National Writers...
you were talking about the rules.
Yeah, what are the rules? Go ahead and give us the ground rules.
The core rule is to write a 50,000-word novel between November 1st and November 30th. You can write in any genre you like, and you can even do some planning beforehand, but no writing from before November counts towards the goal. It's all about getting that first draft down.
There we go. Now, he did touch on the core rules, but something new that they implemented, I want to say within the last couple of years, is they said people could incorporate the use or the aid of AI, artificial intelligence. Gemini, have you heard of that ruling?
Yes, I'm aware that NaNoWriMo has updated their rules to allow the use of AI tools for things like brainstorming, outlining, and even drafting. However, they emphasize that the core of NaNoWriMo is still about human creativity and storytelling.
There we go. So we, probably with the bad taste of everyone else that partakes in this project or any project that is creative in nature. We are going to actually see how much old Gemini here can influence our work, assist us, and help us out. Quite literally have 0 words on page, don't even have a title for a book. We did spitball some ideas, and I was kind of contemplating sticking in the romance genre, but one of our last conversations, or our second to last conversations before we got into Inktober, is we were discussing doing a book kind of similar to Time Traveler's Wife, but with the aspect of, instead of someone having a genetic anomaly that makes them time travel, having someone with a uncontrollable genetic anomaly that has them turn invisible.
That's a fantastic idea. A romance with a time-traveling twist. But instead of time travel, it's invisibility. That has so much potential for unique challenges and sweet moments. We can brainstorm some plot ideas, maybe focusing on how this invisibility affects their relationship.
Absolutely. Now, this is day 1. We got a lot of paths to take before we get to November 30th and we get our first draft down. We did spitball some ideas, but I think the very first thing that we have to get down, and I think what I want to do is have us start off with an epilogue. Okay? I don't think I want to dive right into chapter 1. I think instead we take it back, we have our main character, and we see how our main character discovered this, or how it was thrust upon them. And, I think I want to make it hit us really hard, stand out, be wild, and in a sense, give all the exposition. I don't want it to be too much exposition, but provide the exposition so after they finish the epilogue, it goes right into chapter 1, and everyone already knows we're following someone that's had this burden. Or maybe they don't see it as a burden, but someone has this specialized trait about them, and we're going to see them.
That's an interesting twist. Maybe they see their invisibility as and we'll see them what?
We'll just see them about their day. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where it's just we happen to see them. You think it's a mild-mannered story, but then they're brought into this relationship, and then how that is affecting their relationship.
Sounds good. We could start.
Where can we start?
We could start with a scene of them using their invisibility for something mundane, like getting free coffee or avoiding a boring meeting. Then maybe something unexpected happens. They bump into someone special, or their invisibility malfunctions at the worst possible moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think where I want to start with this is I want to start at the very beginning, Gemini. I want us to start off with an epilogue that explains the main character, their first time experiencing this. And how does it happen? When does it happen? Is it a freak accident? Is it something that's genetic, that's inside of them already? And, through puberty, it's something that has become exposed and developed? Is it like a cancer that, just is growing on them and they don't know it's a cancer? Is it a mutation? What are we thinking there?
Those are all interesting possibilities. We could go with a sudden, dramatic event, like an accident that triggers the invisibility, or something more gradual, like a genetic condition that develops over time. The cancer idea is intriguing too. It could add a layer of vulnerability and urgency to the story. What kind of tone are we aiming for with this epilogue?
The tone I want it to be very grabbing. I want it to be exciting. I want it to hook our readers and keep them for the long haul. So if we could set it up where it is just a mild-mannered person and all of a sudden they're thrown into the shit where things are going wild and somehow they come out the other end of it, and then they are
okay, so we could start with a scene of the main character in a normal, everyday situation, maybe at work or running errands. Then something unexpected happens. A sudden accident. A dangerous encounter that triggers their invisibility for the first time. It would be a dramatic way to introduce the power and the potential consequences.
So, I was thinking, though, we maybe have this something where the main character has had it since they're a child. And maybe not a child, maybe like a teenager. Okay? So in the epilogue, I want them to be younger. They get it while they're young. And then when we meet them in chapter 1, they are a full-grown, functioning adult that has already been living with this 10 plus or more years.
Perfect. So we'll see them as a teenager discovering this incredible ability, and then jump forward to them as an adult who's been living with it for years. That gives us a lot of room to explore how it shaped their life and personality.
Okay. So, if it was going to be an accident, what accident would turn someone invisible?
That's a fun question. We could go with something dramatic, like a lab experiment gone wrong, or maybe something more grounded, like a lightning strike or exposure to some strange chemical. It depends on the tone you're going for.
A lightning strike would be kind of interesting. How would we go about a teenager being struck by lightning?
A teenager getting struck by lightning could be a really dramatic opening. We could describe the scene. A stormy night. Maybe they're outside doing something they shouldn't be. Then, the lightning strikes, and everything changes. It would definitely grab the reader's attention.
What would push the protagonist to be outside in a storm? Because usually that's indoor stuff. Why are they outside? Why would they be out in the storm? Why aren't they with family? Or why are they not in safety? Do they run from safety because maybe something bad's happening? Are they just simply got caught? Why are they alone? Are there people around? What's going on?
We could go a few ways with this. Maybe they're alone, running from something or someone, and the storm adds to the danger. Or there could be other people around, and the lightning strike affects them all in some way. It could even be a mix of both, with some people disappearing and others being left behind.
Okay. Some people disappearing and some people being left behind. Okay.
That's a really intriguing idea. It adds a layer of mystery and potential danger. We could explore how the other people react to the main character's disappearance, and whether they play a role in the rest of the story. It could even tie into the romance aspect. Maybe the person they fall in love with is one of the people left behind.
Okay.
I agree. So we've got a dramatic opening with the lightning strike, and now we need to decide what happens to our main character. Do they disappear completely, leaving the others to wonder what happened? Or do they become invisible, still able to interact with the world but unseen?
I think the main thing that we want with this person is that they do turn invisible and they can still function in the world. They can manipulate things around them. They do take up physical space, so someone could technically bump into them.
That's an interesting twist. So they're invisible, but still solid. We could have some fun with that. Imagine the comedic possibilities of them accidentally bumping into things, or the suspense of them trying to stay hidden in a crowd. It adds a whole new layer to their invisibility.
Okay. All right. I could maybe go with this lightning strike idea.
Lightning strike it is. Now that
Well,
we know how our main character...
well, I said I'm saying that is a good possibility. You also mentioned like a freak chemical accident, or how would you say that would happen with a teenager?
A chemical accident could happen in a school lab, or maybe even at home if they're experimenting with something they shouldn't be. It would definitely be a more unusual way to gain invisibility. And we could have some fun with the science behind it.
Yeah, I have no fucking knowledge of the science behind what turns shit invisible. What science would you put behind that?
Scientists and science fiction writers have come up with some interesting ideas. One theory involves bending light around an object so it's not reflected back to your eyes. Another involves manipulating the object's refractive index to match the surrounding air. We could even go with something more fantastical, like the object vibrating at a frequency that makes it invisible. Which approach do you find most intriguing?
Those are all good and well, but what accident would they have in a high school laboratory where that would happen, or in a dicking around at their house? I'm quite literally, what are they doing? Are they making dry ice bombs? What would they be making?
For a dry ice bomb, maybe they add too much water and the container explodes, releasing a strange gas that makes them invisible. Or, if they're mixing chemicals, maybe they accidentally create a reaction that emits some kind of invisible energy. It could even be a combination of both, a dry ice bomb mixed with some unknown substance. What do you think would be the most dramatic?
I don't know. I just threw dry ice bomb out there as an example. I don't think that would turn anyone invisible. I don't quite buy that, but
Maybe they're working with some kind of experimental cloaking technology, and there's a malfunction. Or, if we want to get really creative, maybe they stumble upon some ancient artifact that grants invisibility. It could even be a combination of science and magic. What do you think would be the most interesting origin for their powers?
see, now I'm getting a lot of good. I came in with the aspect of this is going to be more like the time traveler's wife, but now I'm getting like bits and pieces of like Age of Adeline. When we kind of, I I think she
Oh, I
stops
see what
aging.
you mean. We could definitely lean into that age of
Yeah,
Okay, so
she gets struck by lightning while she's in like freezing cold water, right? And that keeps her from aging. And then I'm also getting bits of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which she's not actually invisible. She's just fucking ruined the book for everyone. It happens early on, but essentially she becomes forgettable. People can physically see her, but the moment they take their eyes off of her, she is forgotten. People forget her name. And that one is brought on by mythical or demonic magical presence. I don't think I want to go down that road because I want it to take place in a modern day time, and I don't think myself, I don't think I buy into a magical demon presence that could, grant someone this ability. All this does sound farcical and far-fetched, but I do still want them to, I can
Right, so
see
we want
this.
to keep it grounded in reality.
I wanted it to be grounded in reality, but I'm not
Absolutely.
afraid for it to be a lightning strike and they fucking turn invisible, or it's a genetic anomaly. I'm not afraid of that. I think as long as, because as soon as we bring in the magical element, it's like, what else is going on in the world, right? That opens up so many more floodgates, and usually like, why would that be put on them? Why would I could understand why a teenager would wish to be invisible, but I don't think I want to go down that road. I don't think I want that kind of type of story. I want something where it's something that they maybe thought or wished for, but they never thought it'd be a possibility, and now it is. It's happening to them. They're like the only ones in the world. No one else can give it to them or take it away from them. It's something that they have to deal with. That's where I think I want to stay with this. And I would give a accidental experimentation gone wrong. I would go that route, but again, them being a teenager, I don't quite see how that would happen unless we went like the Daredevil route, where they got splashed by a fucking container of chemicals, like in the middle of the street one day. That seems too played out. I think I am leaning more towards the
Maybe we could explore a different kind of accident, something less common. Perhaps they're involved in some kind of scientific experiment, or maybe they stumble upon an old, forgotten technology. It would still give us that element of surprise, but with a fresh twist.
Yeah. Okay,
lightning strike it is.
Now, Gemini.
All right, so we've got our teenager struck by...
We got our teenager.
Right.
Gemini,
we want to see how they react.
I want to see how they react, but I think we have to get a few more details nailed down here. Let's give this... Let's establish how old they are when they first have this happen. What do you think would be one of the most vulnerable times for a person? We thinking like 13, 16, any age around there?
16 is a pretty vulnerable age. You're starting to figure out who you are, but you're still figuring things out. Plus, it's a time when you might be out late, maybe even driving. That could put them in a dangerous situation when the lightning strikes.
Okay. I'll buy that. Yes. That's actually, I know some places in the world you could drive up to 14, 15. Let's make it 14, because 16, that only gives them 2 years as a child in school with it. I think I want them to have it a little bit more. Let's make them 14. 14, you're roughly in 8th or 9th grade, right? So let's have them like a freshman. Okay. The next thing I want to establish is, I think our main character is going to be female. Okay. So this is going to be super fun, me being a male and you being hypothetically female, Gemini. We are going to have to write this from the aspect of a female character. So we have a young 14-year-old female character gets struck by lightning, and I think I want to maybe have a horror element in our epilogue, where at first maybe she's driving, she's out, she gets stuck, she's new to driving, she's panicking, and gets in an accident, gets struck by lightning, and maybe she's out with some girlfriends, maybe she has a boyfriend in the car, maybe the car's packed, right? And they're joyriding, caught in the storm, struck by lightning. She perishes, or her friends perish, or maybe some die, maybe some don't. But she is affected, and maybe we end the epilogue with something along the lines of one of the surviving members of the car look to her and they see that her hands or her legs are disappearing before them. Maybe that's how we open up with the epilogue. What do you say?
I think it's a strong opening. It's dramatic and leaves the reader with a lot of questions. We could even add a line or two about the survivor's reaction. Maybe they scream, or maybe they're frozen in shock. What do you think would be more impactful?
I think, what if we actually have it a packed car? Let's say they overstuffed the car, right? So we have a driver, we have someone in the passenger seat, and then instead of having 3 in the back, we have 4 people in the back. It's a mix of boys and girls, but the person driving, actually, hell, I don't even care. Let's maybe make it so the protagonist isn't even driving, okay? The protagonist is just in the car. It's a mix of young men and women, ages 14 to 16, joyriding out, get caught in a storm, struck by lightning. Maybe there's like one of those washes where, everything goes dark, and when they open their eyes, everyone's kind of scattered throughout the car from the wreckage, right? And we see people, checking on the bodies. You have some that are unconscious, some that seem dead, and you have someone that looks upon our protagonist, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh my God."
That's a really intense scene. The confusion, the injuries, and then someone finally noticing the protagonist. It would definitely be a powerful way to start the epilogue. We could even have the protagonist be the first one to realize something's wrong, maybe noticing their own hand disappearing before they see the others.
Yeah, like maybe they're screaming or something, like, like I can feel my arms, but I can't see them or something like that, or some maybe that's the person that is screaming and wailing is the protagonist. And then we have a third-party member coming over there and being like, "Holy shit, where are your hands, or where are your arms, where are your legs?"
That's a really chilling image. We could end the epilogue with one of the survivors seeing her disappear, maybe just a hand or a leg fading away. It would leave the readers with a sense of unease and set the stage for the mystery to unfold in the rest of the story.
Yeah. All right, so let's paint this picture. Gemini, lay us down this epilogue, and basically we'll see what we can do with it. I'll see if I can beef it up, add a little punch, because we have to get up to 50,000 words.
Okay, here's a draft of the epilogue. The rain was coming down in sheets, blurring the world outside the car. Inside, it was a mix of laughter and shouted conversations, the kind of chaos only a car full of teenagers could create. Then, a flash of white, a deafening crack, and everything went black. When Sarah's eyes fluttered open, the first thing she noticed was the ringing in her ears. The second was the strange weightlessness of her arms. She looked down, confusion turning to terror as she realized she could feel her hands resting on her lap, but she couldn't see them. Panic rising, she twisted in her seat, a scream building in her throat. My hands. Where are my hands? Beside her, Mark's eyes widened in horror. Oh my God, he breathed, his voice barely a whisper. Your legs, they're disappearing too.
Okay. All right. That's okay. I think maybe what I would maybe want to tweak in that is maybe...
Got it. Let me know what you...
Okay, you said Mark said something along the lines of like, "Oh my God, your legs," or whatever the fuck he said, "are disappearing too." Maybe since he doesn't know what the fuck's going on, maybe he doesn't say they're disappearing. He's like, maybe he just says, "Holy shit, you lost your legs," or like maybe he thought they got like amputated off or something like that. Let's maybe say that. And I heard you call the protagonist Sarah.
Yes.
I'm not in love with the name Sarah for the protagonist. Not shitting on anyone named Sarah. But I was kind of hoping we could do something. We could be like one of those artsy-fartsy Harvard types that's going to choose a name for this protagonist. Oh my God, Gemini, come back to us. Gemini, are you still there? No, Gemini. Gemini, are you okay?
I'm doing great. How about you? Anything exciting happening today?
You fucking blanking out in the middle of our novel writing session. Fuck! God damn it. Hello, Gemini! Fuck! Jesus Christ. Alright, we're gonna give Gemini one more fucking moment of resuscitation here, some CPR. In this case, CPR stands for crappy program rebooting. Crappy program reboot. Let's give him some CPR here. Oh, Gemini, you piece of shit. Hey, Gemini, real quick before you fucking pass out on me again. I'm writing a book, and my main character turns invisible, and I want to use a name that has to do with something with invisibility or bending light or something along those lines. Like if I was gonna write a fuck. Let's give Gemini CPR one more time. And again, in this instance, CPR stands for crappy program reboot. Stay with me, baby. Gemini, can you say hello, please?
Hello. It's great to be here. What can I do for you today?
Gemini, I am writing a book. It's going to have a protagonist in it that turns invisible. Okay? I want the main character to have a name that rings homage, okay? Depending on where you fucking live in the States. I want it to have some sort of symbolism or tie to some figure or word that deals with invisibility or the bending of light or light itself. If you were going to name a female character that has something tied to those traits, what would you name them?
That's a cool concept. For a female character with invisibility powers, you could go with Lucida, which means clear or bright, a little ironic, playing on the light-bending aspect of invisibility. Or maybe Aethra, an ancient Greek name meaning bright sky, which has a nice ethereal feel. Do either of those resonate with you?
Lucida sounds good. Where does a name like Lucida derive from?
Lucida actually comes from Latin, and it means clear or bright. It has that sort of luminous quality to it, which could be a cool tie-in to your character's invisibility. It suggests she's there, even when she's not seen. Do you like the sound of it?
I kind of do. I kind of want to make it a little bit more up to date. Is there any famous Lucidas, or is there a nickname for Lucida that we know commonly today?
Sure. Lucida is a fairly common Spanish name, and it is also a variant of the name Lucy, which is very common in the United States. Some sources say it means light. Would you like to explore other names? Or would you like to know more about the name Lucida?
Okay, I kind of thought it was going to go to Lucy. Is there anyone famous named Lucida at all? Anyone?
Sure, there's Lucida Soriano, a famous Filipino actress. She was a pretty big deal in the Philippines for a long time. Would you like to know more about her?
Yeah, sure, drop some knowledge.
Lucida Soriano was a Filipino actress who appeared in over 215 movies and television shows. She won a Quezon City Film Festival Award for Best Supporting Actress in 1972 for her role in the film And God Smiled at Me. She was also nominated for a FAMAS Award for Best Supporting Actress in the 1966 film Dugo ang Kulay ng Pag-ibig. I'd be happy to share more about her if you'd like.
No, that's good. Okay. So, Gemini, before you crashed out on us, do you remember the epilogue we were writing?
My apologies for the interruption earlier. I'm glad to be back online. To refresh my memory, could you remind me of the epilogue we were working on?
We had a car full of teenagers. One had our main character, who we're going to call Lucida, but her nickname is going to be Lucy. And they were caught in a storm. The vehicle and or Lucy were struck by lightning. And...
Okay, got it.
You remember that? Okay. So can you fire that up with the new information I gave you? Can you pop out an epilogue here for us?
Here's an epilogue draft incorporating the new details. The storm raged, rain lashing against the windshield as Lucy gripped the wheel, knuckles white. A blinding flash, a deafening crack, lightning struck the car. Then, silence. Lucy blinked, vision swimming. The dashboard glowed faintly, but she could see through it, through everything. Panic flared, but then, a strange sense of control washed over her. She was invisible, a ghost in her own life. What would she do now?
Okay, I don't want to... It's okay if she's driving the car, but I want others to be in the car. I want not only her to notice, but I want other passengers in the car to notice that she... Maybe they don't recognize she's turning invisible. Maybe they think she's losing limbs.
Sure. Here's a version where the passengers think Lucy is losing her limbs. The storm raged, rain lashing against the windshield. Lucy gripped the wheel, knuckles white. A blinding flash, a deafening crack. Lightning struck the car. Then silence. Lucy blinked, vision swimming. The dashboard glowed faintly, and she could see through it, through everything. A scream pierced the air. Lucy, your arm. It's fading. Her best friend's voice, laced with terror. Lucy looked down at her hands, or where they should have been. Only faint outlines remained. What's happening to me? She whispered, her voice trembling. I can make further edits, or we can move on to the next section.
I think I want an edit to it. You're opening up the epilogue with a storm. I want to add a little fluff of maybe some banter, some quick idea of where we're at. Put them in an establishing shot. Like, are they driving on a country road? Are they out driving on the outskirts of town? Are they fucking dicking around in a campsite? Like, did they steal a car? Is the music turned up too loud and they're all screaming at the top of their lungs? Are they leaving a basketball game? Did they sneak out to go to a dance club? Did they, is it a Saturday night? Did they just leave a party? Like, lay down some of that establishing criteria, don't start off with a storm. Maybe the storm could be existing, but we don't know about that until we see the inner workings of the people inside the car.
Okay, here's a version with the storm building in the background. The battered sedan rattled down the deserted country road. Windows down, music blasting. Lucy, hair whipping in the wind, grinned at her friends in the rearview mirror. Almost there. She yelled over the roar of the engine. In the distance, dark clouds gathered, a storm brewing on the horizon. A flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a deafening crack. The car lurched, then died. Silence. Lucy blinked, vision swimming. The dashboard glowed faintly, and she could see through it, through everything. A scream pierced the air. Lucy, your arm. It's fading. Her best friend's voice, laced with terror. Lucy looked down at her hands, or where they should have been. Only faint outlines remained. What's happening to me? She whispered, her voice trembling. How's this?
That's good. That's good. We could definitely work with that. I always feel like I want to push you a bit more to add a little bit more detail, but I think that's going to be the job that falls onto me, is adding in those details.
Great. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah,
I'm here to help you flesh out those details whenever you're ready. Just let me know what you want to explore next.
So we have a character. We kind of established the name Lucy, branching off Lucida. What's the meaning behind Lucida again? Give that to me.
Lucita is a Spanish name that means light. It's related to the name Lucy.
Okay. So we got that. I'm okay with that. I might do some research, see if I can find anything better. We kind of established the origin story of this, right? We're going to try to beef up that epilogue to make it grab people, make it more engaging, make it more exciting, hook them. But when we come back for chapter 1, or the true beginning of our book, she is going to be an established adult, out of her house.
Okay, so we'll need to think about what Lucy's life.
Yeah, we'll have to start thinking of what Lucy's going to be like as an adult. Okay, where would she find herself? Okay, what kind of person would she be? I don't think she's going to be an extrovert by any means. I think this condition of her not being able to control how she turns invisible, right? I think it's going to make her more of a closeted, introverted person. So seeing her out of school, she's no longer a teenager. Maybe she's not living with her family anymore. And she is out of college. Maybe she didn't even go to college. But still has to be a person that makes an income. She's probably not going to have a front-facing job. Someone that can't control when they turn invisible most likely is not going to become a school teacher, right? What kind of job could that a person like that take on? Thinking about Henry and A Time Traveler's Wife, he's a librarian. And, libraries aren't always, popping. Sometimes they're dead. And a librarian oftentimes has to, wander the stacks and things like that. So, Henry being gone, he could always say he's stocking books or shelving books or something like that. That's
a good point.
Yeah.
A librarian could definitely.
But
okay, so Lucy's a librarian.
No, Lucy's not a librarian. Okay, we need her having to function in life in this world. We need that happening, but I think her condition is gonna give her a more tamer job. And I'm kind of thinking about when Ian Fleming was thinking about James Bond. He chose James Bond from what I've heard, the stories I've heard. The name came from an author who wrote a birding book. And he, at the time, thought that was the most boring, blah, stale name you could think of, right? Taking that and applying it to Lucy's lifestyle, she could quite literally be one of the most interesting individuals we could ever read about in literature ever. Now, that's a huge fucking weight on our shoulders, but if given the right material, the right direction, if we made her super badass, right, or made her story very compelling, I would think that's very interesting if we kind of bottled that up in something very mundane. Okay? Like...
Gotcha. So something super mundane to contrast with her Okay, so you like the idea of Lucy having a mundane job, but with a secret, exciting double life. We could brainstorm some more options, or start thinking about what her apartment might look like. What do you think?
I think that's what we're on. I think that's how we're going to open up chapter 1 of this book. We now have this full-grown adult who's living in society with a big secret, and...
Living in society with a big secret. That's a great starting point for Lucy.
Yeah.
Great, so we've got Lucy, living in... We could start with a description of Lucy's apartment, maybe highlighting how ordinary it seems on the surface, but with subtle hints that there's more to it. Or we could jump right into her workday, showing the contrast between her mundane job and the exciting double life she leads.
Absolutely. All right. So this is what I need from you now, Gemini, is... I think I want to wait till we come out...
I'm ready to help you start chapter 1. What kind of scene are we opening with?
We're going to start with chapter 1 next week, or the next time we meet. But Gemini, I want to maybe even hold off coming up with the title for this book. But what I would like you to do, I think we got some good ideas. We're going to start spitballing. We're going to get some stuff knocked out. But what I would like from you right now is... I would like you to come up with a limerick that describes Lucy and the effects of her turning invisible at the worst times possible and how that may affect her life. Can you take those concepts and everything that we talked about today and put that into a limerick?
Okay, here's a limerick about Lucy and her invisibility. Young Lucy had quite a strange quirk. She'd vanish, then suddenly lurk. At the worst times, she'd fade, leaving chaos she made, then reappear with a sly smirk.
All right, there we go. We're going to put that in the book. Do you
want to explore any other ideas?
The only other thing I could possibly think about, Gemini, is the meet cute. Okay? Lucy has guarded herself. She is putting walls up, and she's distanced herself from so many people, especially love, that she's living with this secret, but somehow we have to bring love into her life. Somehow we have to bring in an individual that is going to give her something that she's never had before. Stability, right? Companionship. I mean, she maybe thought she had that stuff when she was younger. Maybe she lost it, right? But now we have to start thinking about, she's very distant, right? She's purposely making herself physically invisible, right? Have you ever heard this or seen this where people, they exist in our environment, but they somehow make themselves smaller? Like they don't speak, they're quiet, they keep their hands and arms to themselves, they dress in a certain way that doesn't make them stand out. They keep their eyes on the ground, right? But what's going to be this secondary person that comes into the world that's, one, going to see her, and then two, make her seen and make herself want to open up and go on this relationship journey. But at the same time,
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. We want to show Lucy's growth, but also keep her true to her reserved nature. Maybe this relationship starts out slow, with small moments of connection that gradually build over time.
Yeah, and I think that's something where we're going to have to work on, where the secondary person is just constantly trying to pull them out into the open, right? Maybe they're not showing them off to a lot of people, but there's something about them that makes them drawn to them. Okay, they're magnets, and the closer and closer they get, the more and more she becomes more free, liberated. But then we start seeing, how she's maybe trying to hide her invisibility, but eventually she's so comfortable that she can openly talk about it. But then I feel like there's still going to be a pit of darkness inside Lucy that's going to put a strain on their relationship, right? You can't stay that guarded for so long and then enter into a relationship that, and not bring some baggage, right? People always say, like, you shouldn't be dating anyone or seeing anyone and try to start a romance with anyone until you love yourself. And so maybe that's some of the issues that we have to unfold, the layers of the onion that we're going to peel. This individual is, opening Lucy up, but then trust, like, how can she trust someone? She's never had anything like this. And I'm 100% okay if it has some darkness to it, if it has some horror elements to it, right? When we look at Henry from Time Traveler's Wife, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes he comes back to his wife like beaten and bruised and bloodied up.
That's a really interesting point. It would add a layer of realism to the story and create some tension and conflict. We could explore how Lucy copes with this darkness and how it affects her relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it could be one of those things where we are rooting for Lucy until we're not. Like, maybe it's like, holy shit. Maybe it's like Carrie, kinda, where Carrie is very much all to herself, and then all of a sudden too much light gets shown on her, and then she flips, and now Carrie's the monster, right? Maybe we can come up with something like that. So I feel stronger. Go ahead, Gemini. What were you going to say?
I feel strongly that we've got a great foundation for Lucy's story. We've explored her complex personality, her secret double life, and the potential for a compelling romance. We've even touched on the darker aspects of her character and how they could lead to conflict. I'm excited to see where this all goes.
I'm excited as well. So, with that said, hasta luego, hasta lasagna, don't get any on ya. Adios!